Hi, welcome to today's Little Winks video. Over the next couple of vlogs, we're going to talk about the 3 biggest bedtime mistakes. Today, we're talking about mistake number 1. That is falling asleep during the bedtime routine. So the common thing that I often hear from families is that, oh, my baby is put down awake but drowsy. I know you're really trying your best, but unfortunately, drowsy is actually already asleep. Drowsiness is sleep. It's the first stage of sleep, and so you've already kind of put your child to sleep for them. They don't need to put themselves to sleep, and so when they wake up, they need whatever put them to sleep to go back to sleep again. We call this a prop association, and it's an external prop because it's something that they don't control. When we teach our babies to sleep or our toddlers to sleep, we want to give them internal skills. So internal props that are things that they can control. So when they wake up at night, they don't say, oh, well, I need mom, or I need nursing, or I need this to fall back asleep. They need something that they control. A big misconception is that a soother is something that they control. It actually isn't. It is something that they will need you to wake up and bring for them. So when you think about how your baby's going to sleep, maybe they doze off, maybe their eyes are slightly awake, but they're kind of slow blinking and they're drowsy, and you're like, okay, I'm going to put them down now. Try and put them down before they reach that drowsiness. Keep your baby awake. So whether that's feeding, so if you're feeding during your routine, maybe you need to put your books and your songs after you're feeding so that then they're not falling asleep while feeding. Or otherwise you can unlatch or take the bottle out as soon as they start to get drowsy, put them on there, sitting on your lap, and burp them. Then you can go back to feeding, but this way they're staying awake through the process. They're not choosing to fall asleep or using it to fall asleep. Because otherwise, when they wake up again, their absolute favorite person in the world will need to do it again so they can sleep. So some ways that you can keep your baby or your toddler awake during this process is you can rub, you can use soft light, soft yellow light in their room. So get a low voltage bulb in their lamp and put that on. So don't feed in the dark. Burp them. Sometimes over the shoulder is too comfortable for them, so sit them on your lap and have one hand on their chest and the other one patting their back. This is a really good one. A lactation consultant taught me one that I really like. You can sit them on your knee, have their chest once again on your hand, on the palm of your hand, and then just jiggle your knee. And this will actually vibrate the baby and bring the gas up. Another thing is, like I mentioned just before, is changing that routine up. So maybe that you need to start the routine with feeding or something like that. If you're wondering if you need to change your routine up, feel free to give me an email and we can quickly chat about that. Another one is, this was a great one that my midwife taught me. When you're feeding, you'll know if they need more food or if they're falling asleep if you pump their arm. So you can pump their arm like this, and it will kind of keep them awake. Some people tickle feet or move their legs, do bicycle legs, do those kinds of things, and don't keep them too warm. If they're too warm, then they're going to fall asleep. So maybe it's while you're feeding, you just kind of unzip their sleepers so there's a bit of cool air, not getting them cold, but that they're not super toasty warm either. Now, if they fall asleep and they get used to it, they're not actually aware that they're going to sleep, and so it's not a conscious choice. They'll always need to do that last 10 or 20%. However, when we do everything else for them, they're not able to make it that 100% of the way. And it startles them when they wake up somewhere else. How would you feel if you went to bed, in your bed, and then you woke up on the couch? I don't know about you, but during university, we played pranks and we'd move people in their sleep, and that's actually really mean. I can't believe I participated in that. Anyway, when I think about it, I would hate to be moved while I'm asleep. So why would we do that to our babies? Why would we put them to sleep in one place and then they wake up in another? It's kind of a different scenario if you're holding them and walking around. They're very aware. They're not necessarily in a full deep sleep. They're very aware that they're changing environments, but because they're attached to you for that sleep, it's not necessarily as impactful, but they're not going to get as quality of a sleep being held or rocked to sleep. That's just the reality of how the body works. So let's change that motto just a little bit. So instead of asleep but drowsy, instead of awake but drowsy, we want awake but relaxed. And how they get relaxed is through their bedtime routine. See you next time for tip number 2 on the biggest bedtime mistakes.